Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Mayorkas, Mr. McCall said the border is wide open. Director Wray testified about an elevated threat of guns and money and drugs across the border. Mr. Guest laid out a lot of the details about the record-breaking numbers, and he ended up having to talk more than get an answer from you on something. I just want to ask you, I've heard you and the Judiciary Committee recently in the summer testify that the border is secure. Secretary Mayorkas, do you continue to maintain that the border is secure?
Yes, and we are working day in and day out to enhance its security, Congressman.
Right. Thanks, sir.
We have remarkable.
I get it. I just wanted to make sure that still is your assessment. Director Wray.
It is, and it's very important, if I may.
Well, I know there's just not enough time for a lot of explanation, and you've got written testimony and so forth. I just wanted to understand that that's your position still. I think it is a position that denies reality, respectfully, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to say, no, I think the situation's changed or something like that. Director Wray, do you believe that the border is secure?
Well, I can only speak to border security from our narrow lane, but I can speak to it from that lane. What I would say is that we see significant criminal threats coming from south of the border, whether it's guns, drugs, money, violence. We see transnational criminal organizations that are sending their drugs here and that are using street gangs here to distribute it, and that contributes to the violent crime crisis here. We've had takedowns just in the last few months that I could give you as an example. I'll give you just one quick one. In Phoenix, we had a takedown working with CBP, who are phenomenal partners, I should add, where we seized in one vehicle interdiction enough fentanyl to kill the equivalent of the entire state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
that's very troubling. One vehicle interdiction.
Thank you, Director Wray. Director Abizaid, does the NCTC assess a significant threat from the historic level of uncontrolled crossing at the southern border?
Thank you. We don't, actually. Border security is really important. If we look at the nature of the threat and how it's evolved here in the United States homeland, it's been striking how the evolution to lone actors actually reflects how much more difficult it is for terrorists to enter into the United States. We look historically at the kind of attacks we've experienced here in the homeland. None of them have been connected to major illegal crossings or otherwise from the southwest border.
Right.
That said, it remains a top intelligence priority.
Director Wray spoke to that earlier about what has historically been true. It makes me mindful of the 9/11 report, that chapter that said the system was blinking red. It was a failure of the United States government agencies to anticipate a threat that should have been obvious to everyone. So it troubles me that the official response is, we don't think that's much of a threat. We have an unprecedented number of people coming across the border. A lot of them are being interdicted, but released into the United States without enough scrutiny. A whole lot more apparently coming in without being interdicted at all. And the official answer is, we don't think there's a terrorism problem there. Just hadn't happened in the past. I think, unfortunately, we're going to find out if it happens in the future. Reporting from The Intercept focused on the Department of Homeland Security's, and I guess CISA has been the focal point for it, interactions with social media companies. One thing it related was that DHS sent an email to Twitter about a Twitter account that could imperil election system integrity. The user had 56 followers in a bio that had references to weed shops. Secretary Mayorkas, does the level of interaction with social media platforms, and that one specifically, that anecdote, not suggest that DHS is engaged in egregious overreach that threatens the First Amendment?
Congressman, I would note that the Intercept article focused its attention on the disinformation activities that preceded our administration. Let me assure you that our work to address disinformation, which is a tool that our nation-state adversaries seek to employ to sow discord in this country, is something that is very, very respectful of the civil rights and civil liberties of individuals, as well as their privacy rights.
You maintain that always, but let me just ask, when you say it's respectful, are you attempting to conduct censorship by proxy as a means of evading the First Amendment?
We absolutely do not.
My time's expired.
Gentleman's time